Hello. Didn't see you there. Today we will be talking about sexual education, or as you kids call it, knocking the boots. But first, let's hammer out some facts.
Sex education, which is sometimes called sexuality education or sex and relationships education, is the process of acquiring information and forming attitudes and beliefs about sex, sexual identity, relationships, and intimacy.
Sexual intercourse, sex involving penetration, an act carried out for reproduction or pleasure involving penetration, especially one in which a man inserts his erect penis into a woman's vagina.
Sexual identity is a term that, like sex, has two distinctively different meanings. One describes an identity roughly based on sexual orientation. The other, an identity based on sexual characteristics, a concept related to but different from gender identity.
Sexual behavior or sexual activity differs from a sexual orientation. Any person may be capable of sexual behavior with a person of the same or opposite sex, but an individual knows his or her longing, erotic or affectional, and which sex is more likely to satisfy those needs.
Well, that was a good tidbit of information. But on a serious note, I have a very important question to ask. Is there sufficient enough sexual education in our schools today?
No! There is not sufficient sex education in schools today!
It is morally permissible to teach children and adolescents about sex in school.
Because having a better knowledge of sexual intercourse and sexual identity will positively impact their future relationships!
Oh well then, to what extent should we be teaching children and adolescents about sex? Is this enough?
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die. Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it, promise? Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
Well, that was a hoot and a half, but it wasn't sufficient. Don't take it from me. Take it from these trained experts.
According to the Alan Guttmacher Institute, 1 million teenage women become pregnant per year. 78 of these pregnancies are unplanned.
1 in 4 sexually experienced teens acquire a sexually transmitted infection, STI, per year, and chlamydia and gonorrhea are more common among teens than adult men and women.
Currently, only 14% of all public SBSE school-based sexuality education programs are comprehensive, meaning that they include information regarding all methods of contraception and STI prevention.
Abstinence-only and abstinence-centered programs represent 35% and 51% of all public school sexuality education. Abstinence-only programs include any mention of condom use and contraception, except for reference rates of failure.
Well, that's a lot of information. Sexual education is really important. But what's wrong with the sexual education we have right now?
Well, Gagnon and Simon refer to the subscription to a drive reduction theory of adolescent sexuality, providing the rationale for a fear-based crisis intervention approach to SBSE. Drastic absolutist measures are necessary to reduce and subdue the hypersexuality of teens today.
The working definitions and prescribed norms of adolescent sexuality are narrow and exclusionary.
There's a preoccupation with the negative outcomes and consequences with teen sex, completely forgetting about the positive aspects of sexuality, as well as teens' abilities to successfully manage their sexuality.
Sex ed has a distinct heterosexist bias.
Alright, I get it, ladies. So it should definitely not be like this.
I don't think we had sex ed. We might have put a condom on a banana once.
Or this.
We had sex ed. Fully Alive Chapter 3. When a man and a woman really love each other, they consummate their marriage in front of God. And then babies happen.
But sexual education should be like this.
We learned common sex myths, like you can go blind from masturbating. It was actually really empowering to get the truth about sex.
Or this.
We were given really detailed charts about the STIs that you can get, their symptoms, how they're spread, and what you can do to prevent them.
But definitely not this.
Now, sex. Sex. Where were we? Well, had I got as far as the penis entering the vagina?
No, sir.
Well, had I done foreplay?
Yes, sir.
Now, all these forms of stimulation can now take place. And of course, tonguing will give you the best idea of how the juices are coming along. Helen? Now, penetration and coitus, that is to say, intercourse up to and including orgasm. Ah, hello, dear. Weimar, this is for your benefit. Would you kindly wake up? I've no intention of going through this all again. We'll take the foreplay as read, if you don't mind it.
No, of course not, Humphrey.
So, the man starts by entering or mounting his good lady wife in the standard way. The penis is now, as you will observe, more or less fully erect. There we are. Ah, that's better. Now, Carter.
Yes, sir?
What is it?
It's an ocarina, sir.
Bring it up here. The man now starts making thrusting movements with his pelvic area, moving the penis up and down inside the vagina. So put it there, boy. Put it there on the table. While the wife maximizes her clitoral stimulation by the shaft of the penis by pushing forward. Thank you, dear.
Obviously, that was an exaggeration, but the moral implications of sexual education is why it's still such a highly controversial topic, especially in North America.
Rachel Thompson says that sex education not only brings into focus tensions around gender, but tensions around generation, as well as public acknowledgement of adolescent sexuality.
There's a secret belief that knowledge is harmful. If you tell kids about sex, they'll do it.
We don't quite agree with this, because whether you inform kids of sex or not, they're still going to engage in it.
It's better to know the risks and precautions they have to take when engaging in sexual intercourse.
The facts aren't enough. There needs to be more positive stigma attached to teen sexuality. And we need to break away from narrow-minded concepts and notions.
To be fully realized sexual beings.